Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivasadi Gauranga. Bhaja Shri.
Hare Krishna. So we'll start with the Jai Radha Madhava prayers. Can all repeat after me? Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayo Krishna Balaram, Jayo Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jayo Krishna Balaram. Jayo Gauranitai, Jayo Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jayo Gauranitai. Jayo Lakshmi Narasimha, Jayo Ananta Dev, Lakshmi Narasimha, Jayo Ananta Dev. Jayo Srinivas Govinda, Jayo Srinivas Govinda, Jayo Srinivas Govinda, Jayo Srinivas Govinda. Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Jayo Prabhupada. Jai Shri Shri Krishna Balaram ki, Jai Shri Shri Nittai Gauranga ki, Jai Shri Lakshmi Narsimhadev Ananta Dev ki, Jai Shri Srinivas Govinda ki, Jai Shri La Prabhupada ki, Nittai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. So we'll read from the 5th verse of 7th chapter. Before we start, please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So please repeat the verse after me. Apareyam itastva anyam. Apareyam itastva anyam. Prakritim vidhi me param. Prakritim vidhi me param. Jiva bhutam mahabaho. Jiva bhutam mahabaho. Yayedam daryate jagat. Yayedam daryate jagat. Apareyam itastva anyam. Prakritim vidhi me param. Jiva bhutam mahabaho. Yayedam daryate jagat. So please repeat the word-to-word meanings after me. Apara, inferior. Iyam, this. Itaha, besides this. Tu, but. Anyam, another. Prakritim, energy. Vidhi, just try to understand. Me, my. Param, superior. Jiva bhutam, the living entities. Mahabaho, O mighty armed one. Yaya, by whom? Idam, this. Daryate, being utilized or exploited. Jagat, the material world. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charnaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Besides this inferior nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is a superior energy of mind, which are all living entities who are struggling with material nature and are sustaining the universe. So please repeat the translation. Besides this inferior nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is a superior energy of mind, which are all living entities who are struggling with material nature and are sustaining the universe. I'll read the purport. Here, it is clearly mentioned that living entities belong to the superior nature or energy of the Supreme Lord. The inferior energy is matter manifested in different elements, namely earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Both forms of material nature, namely gross, earth, etc., and subtle, mind, etc., are products of the inferior energy. The living entities who are exploiting these inferior energies for different purposes are the superior energy of the Supreme Lord. And it is due to this energy that the entire material world functions. The cosmic manifestation has no power to act unless it is moved by the superior energy, the living entity. Energies are always controlled by the energetic, and therefore living entities are always controlled by the Lord. They have no independent existence. They are never equally powerful, as unintelligent men think. The distinction between the living entities and the Lord is described in Srimad Bhagavatam as follows. 10.87.30 Aprimata dhruvas tanubhruto yadi sarvagata tarhim na sasyeti niyamya dhruva netraha ajanicha yanuyayam tan avimuchya niryanthar Bhavet samam anujanantam yad anuntam mata dustataya. O Supreme Eternal, if the embodied living entities were eternal and all-pervading like you, then they would not be under your control. But if the living entities are accepted as minute energies of your Lordship, then they are at once subject to your supreme control. Therefore, real liberation entails surrender by the living entities to your control and that surrender will make them happy. In the constitutional position only, they can be controllers. In that constitutional position only can they be controllers. Therefore, men with limited knowledge who advocate the monistic theory that God and the living entities are equal in all respects are actually misleading themselves and others. The Supreme Lord Krishna is the only controller, and all living entities are controlled by him. These living entities are his superior energy because the quality of their existence is one and the same with the Supreme, but they are never equal to the Supreme in quantity of power. While exploiting the gross and subtle inferior energy, matter, the superior energy, the living entity, forgets his real spiritual mind and intelligence. This forgetfulness is due to the influence of matter upon the living entity. But when the living entity becomes free from the influence of the illusory material energy, he attains the stage called mukti or liberation. The false ego, under the influence of material illusion, thinks, I am matter and material acquisitions are mine. His actual position is realized when he is liberated from all material ideas, including the conception of his becoming one in all respects with God. Therefore, one may conclude that the Gita confirms the living entity to be only one of the multi-energies of Krishna, and when this energy is freed from material contamination, it becomes fully Krishna conscious or liberated. Thus ends the purport. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitan Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Jai Shri Prabhupada. So here in this 7th chapter, this is one of the beginning verses of the 7th chapter. We are in the text 5, verse 5. So Krishna starts by saying to Arjuna that he is now going to explain about himself. So this chapter is known as knowledge of the Absolute. So in the first verse, Krishna says, I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge with phenomenal and nominal, by knowing which there shall remain nothing further to be known. And then he says this knowledge that Krishna is going to reveal is not something very straightforward or simple knowledge. Actually, next verse he says that this knowledge in general, otherwise if one needs to know, he says, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye. Out of thousands of men, barely one will get to know this knowledge. And then, yatatamapi siddhanam kaschin vittimam tattvataha. So this knowledge that Krishna is going to reveal, that actually it's very unique, very difficult. Unless, hundreds of thousands of men, if they strive for knowledge, only few of them come to know. And out of few of them, only very few know him in complete absolute. But that knowledge, Krishna is now revealing. So here, the previous verse, one of the first thing, Krishna mentions is about his different energies. So in the 7th chapter, what is Krishna doing? He's revealing about himself. He's revealing about his energies, his creation, different modes of nature, his various strengths, how he's maintaining, creating and sustaining this entire universe, different kinds of people, how they understand him, how they reciprocate, how the Lord reciprocates. All this knowledge, the Lord is revealing. So actually, Bhagavad Gita is such a wonderful book that actually if this is accepted by everybody, we can save hundreds, thousands, millions, billions of dollars. How is it? Because, so much research work is being done to understand this creation. Right? This whole space research, there are hundreds, thousands of planets around us. They're sending these telescopes into the sky, into the space. They're trying to do research. They're trying to understand the origin of creation. They're trying to understand, the whole Big Bang theory or different energies, the dark matter. There's so much new things they're going on discovering. Still, there is no clear picture. With so much advancement of science and technology, still there is not any good clarity. How did everything come into existence? How is everything put into motion? What is it that is happening? What is going on? What is this life? Still people don't know that there are actually two varieties of existence. One is the material nature and the spiritual nature. People know, the scientists know there is life force, there is living force. Right? What is the difference between a living person and a dead person? The living force is missing, the life is missing. So there is understanding of living matter and dead matter. But what is this life? How does this life come? Does matter come from spirit, or does spirit come from matter? Unfortunately, they don't understand. They think they both are in the same category. They think it is some kind of a different energy. And the modern scientists, even today, they think that some special combination of material elements creates life. But that is not what it is. We are seeing very clearly how many ever material ingredients you put together, does it ever attain consciousness and start reacting, thinking, feeling, willing, conscious, desiring? Does it happen? No. Prabhupada has written a nice book called Life Comes from Life. Because the modern scientists, they say, some chemical special combination, there is life symptoms. They say life symptoms appear when there are special, combination of chemicals. What is that combination? So much advanced science and technology we have. We are even invented AI. It's always in the news nowadays. It will replace all jobs. So much advancement has been done. They're able to replicate all capabilities of a human being. But why couldn't they not replicate the life? They keep saying life comes from chemicals. Prabhupada always used to say, you can analyze, so many lives are there. Human body, you can analyze what all chemicals are there. Put them together. Does life come? Forget about human body. Maybe take a small mosquito. Figure it out, no? How much is there? No, you don't need very much chemicals. If you just do chemical analysis of the mosquito, of different parts of it, can you bring, put some chemicals together and can you bring it to life? They're not able to. But they're hanging on to a very invalid theory. So much research, so much time, so much money, so much energy is being spent to figure out what is what. But actually, as Krishna is saying here, Krishna has revealed everything. That is why I'm saying if people just accept Bhagavad Gita, you can save all this money. And it is not some blind sentiment. Sometimes say, mythology and all. No, it is very practical, very scientific, very sensible, very clear, very verifiable. Science, Prabhupada always said our spiritual knowledge is science. The Vedics also, the Veda means knowledge. Knowledge never means a story or mythology. Everything is science, everything is scientific. Even Puranas, people unfortunately have termed them as mythology. There is no myth. Purana means, those who know Hindi know, Purana means what? Old. Historical. There are old incidents, historical incidents that are captured. Itihasa means history. The Mahabharata, Ramayana, they come under history. The Puranas, they are all the, recollections. They are historical incidents that have been captured for us to understand the Vedic knowledge. So here, we are also fortunate. We don't have to worry about modern science to do so much advancement only to say that the previous theory was proved to be false. If you see the science section of news, once in a while you'll keep saying that some theory that was put for whatever 50, 100 years ago and so much it was believed and it only came to be proved that no, that theory is wrong. Some new scientist knew something else, breakthrough research has been done. What is breakthrough? It is breaking through the previous assumptions. So we don't have to wait for all that. Krishna has just revealed, very simple. So amazing. Who can reveal the entire creational secret in just 700 verses? Krishna has revealed it. And that is the beauty of Krishna. I personally, when I read Bhagavad Gita, I felt only God can speak like this. Nobody else than God can speak with so much authority, so much clarity, so much thing. If somebody has spoken, even if I don't know whether Krishna is God or not, if you read Bhagavad Gita, you will actually realize, oh my goodness, no normal person can ever write anything like this. They just can't come up with that. Some people, some envious people, they don't want to accept Krishna as God. They'll say, no, he was a very great philosopher. He was a great thinker. No, any great thinking, any great philosophy cannot, you can read Bhagavad Gita, this is not what a simple greatness. This is absolute authority, the source speaking about himself and his creation. So here, Krishna is clarifying one thing, the whole point of spirit and matter. Is there something called spirit? Is there, the living force and the material? Are they one? Are they together? Is it another form of energy? Krishna is very clearly explaining. So in the previous verse, Krishna says about the gross material elements. He mentions about Bhumi, Rapo, Analo, Vayu, Kam, Mano, Buddhir, Evacha, Ahankara, Itiyamme, Binna, Me, Prakriti, Ashtada. So he's saying the 5 gross elements: Bhumi, Rapo, Analo, Vayu, earth, water, fire, air, ether. So we all know the gross elements, right? Our body is also made up of all these gross elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether, right? What is our body? When we are born, when the womb, when the body is forming in the initial stages, it is just 2 small like a microbes, right? A sperm cell and an egg cell, and then the whole body is built about it. How? The mother is eating food, the body is extracting all the energy from various, now the chemical ingredients are all accumulated, gathered, and the body is being put together. And if you analyze the body, it is nothing but the source is earth. The bones are calcium, the skin is hydrocarbons, everything is material elements. You can break it down to the complete periodic table, right? If you take our body. So it is actually a transformation of earth. It's a transformation. Our body is actually transformation of earth and water. Right? Body is 75% water, they say. Earth, water, there is the fire element, there is the ether, there is the space, there is air. We're all breathing every moment, the air is flowing. So in the same way, these are the gross material elements. So Krishna is saying, then what are these gross material elements? Krishna is saying they're my energy. Right? Bhumi, Rapo, Analo, Vayu, Kham, Mano, Buddhir, Evacha, Ahankara, Itiyam, Me. He's saying these are my energies. And then he's saying these are the gross elements. He's also mentioning about the subtle elements. What are subtle elements? We can't see, but we know they exist. Mind. See, Krishna is mentioning mind, intelligence, ego. We all know mind exists, right? What's going on in your mind? We ask. Somebody is thinking deeply. He's not paying attention. What's going on in your mind? Right? Sometimes they say, my mind is very disturbed. Do we know where this mind is? Can we find? In our body, we can say where the lungs are, where the liver is, right? Where the heart is. Can we say where the mind is? It is subtle. It's not visible. It's not even perceivable. But we know it is there. The thoughts, where do the thoughts come from? Where do the thoughts originate? In the mind. You all get thoughts, right? So, in the same way, it is, mind is there, and then Krishna is saying, buddhi, and then mano, buddhi, intelligence also. What is intelligence? Mind is subtle, we know thoughts are going on. It is said, intelligence is subtler than the mind. Mind exists, you can say, some kind of thoughts, we still can't see, we can't perceive. Intelligence is even finer than the mind. Sometimes it's very difficult to understand what is the difference between intelligence and mind. Both are subtle, both are not visible. What is intelligence, what is mind? I keep saying, Prabhupada gave a very simple example. Once his disciple asked him, Prabhupada, what is the difference between mind and intelligence? Right? Because both seem to be very subtle, like a vague, some thought process, some thinking. What is the difference between mind and intelligence? So Prabhupada said, if you are standing on top of a tall building and you're looking down, Prabhupada says, mind says jump. Right? Did you all notice this anytime? Sometimes we go to these sightseeing spots, Yosemite, Lake Tahoe, we're going at very top peaks, we're looking down, the mind gives idea, what happens if someone jumps, if I jump, what will happen, right? The mind. So Prabhupada says, this is what the mind business is. It will generate a thought. Simply it will give a thought, whatever circumstance. And then Prabhupada says, but the intelligence says, no. Right? The thought might have come to hundreds, thousands of people who are going to these peaks of mountains or any tall place. Oh, what happens if I fall, if I jump from here? So Prabhupada said very clearly, mind says jump, simple. And then intelligence says no. So this is the difference between mind and intelligence. So what is the intelligence? It's finer than the mind. Hundreds, thousands of thoughts come in the mind. But intelligence is the one that decides which thought to accept, which thought to reject. Right? So this is intelligence. The ability to discern and to make a decision, that is intelligence. It is so fine, right? And we all know intelligence is powered by knowledge. Right? Having knowledge will help us make intelligent decisions. Not having the right knowledge will make us, take unintelligent or improper decisions, which will put us in trouble. So that's why what are we doing all our life? They say life is a journey of learning, isn't it? Can we ever say I am done learning? We're always learning as we grow. Every moment there is so much to learn, right? About our health. We learn suddenly something new, and I never knew this. Now we take care of our health aspect, then one problem is solved, right? Sometimes you might feel always acidity or something. Then suddenly they realize, if this and this body type, maybe it is this food ingredient causing this. You never realized. Suddenly you learn, is it? Let me try. Then you stop eating that one particular food item. Then you're, something you feel better. So what does this mean? We are always learning. Our intelligence is always building up. So there is intelligence. And then finer than the intelligence is ego, ahankara, and we say false ego. So the ego is even finer. Prabhupada again very nicely explains everything. What does ego? Ego means identification of the self. Now ahankara, the false ego is the problem. Generally people say, oh, you should not have ego. You should not have ego. But actually what it means, you should not have false ego. Thinking you are something different than what you are. Right? Sometimes people behave very superior, even though they're not in that position. Oh, he has too much of ego, they say. But actually it is false ego. But ego means identification of the self. You can't disidentify yourself. They say, oh, you should not have ego. No, you should not have false ego. So this identification of the self is even finer. How finer it is? Based on our life, how we grow and various things we accumulate and various circumstances we go through, we build a particular persona of ourselves. We start thinking, I am, man, I am this, I am so and so, this is my designation, this is my capacity, this is my power, this is my wealth, this is my strength. We build a frame of an image of ourselves, and that is the ego. And but the problem in the material world is it's a false ego. Everything we build upon ourselves is actually false. We think, oh, I'm a man, I'm a woman. That is also false. We all know ultimately we are the Atma. Right? This life, when we are born, we are a different shape. Every moment our body is changing. Many, many years, body changes. End of life, body completely changes. So the ego is also very fine. And this ego has to be fine-tuned. It has to be corrected actually. Now beyond this, Krishna says, now what are all these energies? These are all material energies. These are all material. So inferior. Now Krishna is saying, he first mentioned these 8 energies, and now he is saying, actually these 8 are my inferior energies. He says, aparayam. Here he is saying, apara means inferior. He says, aparayam, beyond these inferior energies, aparayam itistva anyam. There is one more, prakritim. Prakritim means energy. Right? We're talking about energy. Prakriti means energy. And Prabhupada explains, energy of what? Energy means every time you say energy, there is a source of energy, that is energetic. So in the Sanskrit language it is mentioned, Purusha is the source, is the energetic, and Prakriti is the energy. So he's saying all these different 5 gross elements, 3 subtle elements, these are all energies of the Lord. They are all Prakriti, they are inferior. They are not superior. Superior, they are not the energetic, they are not the source. Now Purusha is the source, the energetic. And who is Purusha? We all know. Supreme Purusha, Param Purusha is Krishna. And then he says, beyond these energies, there is one superior energy also. Aparayam itastvanyam prakritim viddhime param. He says, there is all this I have mentioned are inferior energies. There is a superior energy. And what is that superior energy? Jiva bhutam mahabaho. Jiva bhuta, the living force, is a superior energy. So here is what Krishna is very clearly saying. People are confused. They're thinking, oh, this is everything is material. Consciousness is a result of material combination of material energies. No, it is not. It is a completely separate category. Just like earth is not same as water, or fire is not same as air. The 2 completely separate energies. So this living force is a completely separate energy. Just like the other energies exist, there is this energy also. So Krishna is saying that this living entities, Jiva Bhuta, is a completely different energy, and he says, Yayedam Dharyate Jagat. Now what is this superior energy doing? It is actually sustaining, manipulating, maintaining all the remaining 8 inferior energies. Now we can understand in our own body, we have all these 5 gross energies and the subtle energies. But what is it that's driving all these things? It is the living force. It is the soul. It is the presence of the soul that is actually making all these other energies work, isn't it? Take the example of the same living person and a dead person. If the life has left the body, will anything work? Nothing will work. None of the, even though all the 5 gross energies are there, the body is still there, it won't work. So this is what Krishna is saying, this living force, the superior nature is what is moving the entire world. Now here is very nice, Prabhupada explains in one of the lecture, Jagat. Krishna is saying, Yayedam Dharyate Jagat. Jagat means, he gives a Sanskrit meaning example. It says, Gachanti iti Jagat. It says, one that moves. Jagat means one that moves. And what is it that is moving? The spirit soul, the spiritual nature is what is moving everything. Right? Now we can analyze ourselves, our own situation around here, everywhere. We can see where there is life, that is where matter is moved. and put into motion. Right, this whole building, I keep giving example. How did this come into existence? These are all material elements, isn't it? Metal, glass, wood, all these things. How did this form into a building? There was the spirit, the spiritual person. There is a spirit behind this matter. Wherever there is spirit is only when matter moves. Prabhupada always makes it very clear, matter does not self-organize. You can have any number of bricks and pipes and metal and glass and everything. Will they ever come together and become a building? There has to be a spiritual person. There has to be a spirit behind it. So spirit is what moves matter, and that is what Jagat. So Prabhupada, Krishna is using very scientific terminology here. So everything we see around us, everything, all the matter is being moved because of a presence of the spirit soul, which is the superior energy. Why is it superior? Because it has the capability to move and organize the inferior nature. That is why Krishna is saying this is superior nature. This is the living being. So in this way, we can understand that anything, any nature, anything that we see around us, everything that is coming together, anything that is working is because of a spirit behind it. If there is no spirit, if there is no spirit soul, if there is no living entity behind it, it won't work. Like Prabhupada gives an example of a car. A car could be very expensive, sophisticated, very highly advanced, like a Rolls-Royce car, but without a driver, it won't move. Same thing, a very big airplane, very powerful, very capable. It can fly maybe 5,000 miles in one stretch, but without a pilot, it won't go. Now people might add a twist. No, nowadays there are self-driving cars. There is no driver. I've seen it. Right? We've seen demos on the video. So self-driving car, how do we explain? There is no spirit behind it. How is it working? There has to be some spirit who has to put right destination from to and click go. So without spirit, matter won't move. How much our advanced matter technology you have, if there is no spirit, nothing will move. Let's say all living beings disappeared from this earth. Will any of the self-driving car move? Even though it is self-driving, self-flying, drone, whatever, still it has to be the spirit that has to move it. So taking that understanding, right? They're taking this very small example, like our own body. The body won't move or function without the presence of the soul. Now, this whole, if you apply this at a very grand scale, at a very grand scheme, take a big picture of how this whole universe is functioning. What are all these planets? What are all these stars, these galaxies and everything? Isn't everything in motion? Right? Our earth is rotating continuously. In 24 hours, it will complete one full cycle. In 365 days, it will complete one revolution around the sun. All the planets are rotating. Even the sun is rotating in its orbit, its axis. Even the galaxies are moving. Everything in the entire universe is moving. Now, Yayedam Dharyate Jagat, Krishna has revealed the formula. How is everything put into motion? Does matter move on its own? Does matter organize on its own? We have also International Space Station. It is going around the Earth. Did it suddenly appear one day and it started going around the Earth? No, right? So much spirit beings were involved to do that. So now in this way we can understand how is the entire universe, entire cosmic manifestation working. There is the supreme spirit behind it. And that is what is Vishnu. Andantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastham. The Lord Vishnu has entered into every atom. Even inside the atom, we know electrons, protons, neutrons, right? We studied in science, they are also in their own orbits and moving. How is this all happening? There has to be spirit, because matter does not self-organize, does not move on its own. There has to be spirit that pushes, that moves the matter. So now we can understand that the supreme spirit, if we are the ones who are managing small city, small house, small temple, small organization, thing, then who is managing this entire cosmic manifestation? Everything working like clockwork. I keep giving example of this traffic signals, right? Once the city decides the timing for a particular junction, programs it exactly at that time, it like precision. It comes, it goes red, goes green, turns yellow, then the other one. Nobody is there, but someone has programmed it. Now, how is it that every day, is so much predictable, systematic, sunrise, sunset, seasonal changes, orbits? They can calculate when is the next time Earth and Mars will come close together. They come up with all this number. This is the, after 4,000, this many years, Jupiter has come this close. How are they calculating everything? How is so much precision happening? Unless somebody has programmed it and managed it to work, right? Just like the traffic signal. Does it just work? You can predict, right? Once it works, okay, after 25 seconds, again green will come, you can say, and it will come. So in the same way, the entire cosmic manifestation, the entire material creation, Krishna is behind it, who has set everything into motion, set everything into place, so that we can understand. So Krishna is revealing how this our own body and the world around is working, and the entire cosmic manifestation is also working. Now the other point Prabhupada is clarifying in this purport is that even though we are superior energy, right? Even though we are superior energy, we are able to make some movements, we are able to organize some things, we can create motor car, we can create international space station, we can create some space orbits and all. But actually we are still Prakriti, we are not Purusha. What does that mean? That means Prakriti means is being controlled. The energy is being controlled by the energetic source, right? Very crude example, you turn on the light, the energetic source is the light, and once you turn it on, that's when there is light and probably some heat. If the energetic source is turned off, there is no light and there is no heat, isn't it? So there is the source is controlling the energies. So even though we are superior energy, we are acting as minute controllers. We are not able to control everything. We can only control so much, right? There is so much. And our control is also under so many conditions. So Prabhupada is saying here that actually we have to understand that though we are superior energy, we are still energy. We are also Prakriti. We are controlled by the Purusha, the Supreme Lord. And then sometimes there is this mention of, the Supreme Energy and we are the same. They say, there are this whole philosophy, it's called monistic philosophy or impersonalism, or Brahmavadi or Mayavadi. They say, we are same, we are Supreme Energy, God is Supreme Energy, we are same. They don't make the distinction between the Supreme Superior Energy, the Purusha, and the Superior Energy which is the living being. Both are, spiritual. Krishna is also Supreme Spirit, we are also Spirit. But they say, everything is Spirit, everything is Spirit, we are also God, they say. Actually, it is very funny if you say, if we are God, why we have to struggle so hard? Right? But the theory said, no, you are God, you don't realize it. If you meditate, you will realize and you will become God. Again, is God so weak that he will fall into some place? He has to struggle hard, study for exams, pass an examination, get certificate, go to some yoga center, then do meditation, then become God. How has God become so weak? That means something more powerful. No, he is in Maya, they say. Well, if Maya can make God into somebody like us who has to struggle hard for existence, then how is God great? Maya should be great, right? So it's a very absurd theory. But somehow it is being propagated, it is being accepted, and it is going on. You know why? Because everyone likes the idea, I am God. You see these philosophers, they'll say, I am moving the sun, I am moving the moon. They say like this actually. It seems very cool. Oh yes, I am in control. Everything is me. It's just that I have forgotten. Otherwise, I am that everything. It is very, absurd, insane theory, but it is being accepted because people like to think they're great, they're superior. And this theory is giving them an option to think like that. I am God. I keep saying there is one person who professes this philosophy. He says, you are God. And if you think anything less than that, you are only compromising. What kind of statements are these? If I am God, Prabhupada then he was angry when he heard this. He says, no, God is God, dog is dog. Dog will remain dog, God will remain God. Right? And so many times, so many things Prabhupada also explains. Like Lord Krishna, if this is how one becomes God, by doing some kind of meditation and something acquires all energies, powers, and he becomes God, then we see in Krishna's life, he did not do anything. He was a small child, just few days old. When Putana came, he killed Putana. When Trinavarta came, Trinavarta was killed. When he was 7 years old, he did not do any great yoga, meditation, anything. He lifted the whole Govardhan hill. So that proves that God is God. It's not by doing some kind of meditation one will become God. Right? And here from Srimad Bhagavatam, a very nice verse is being quoted to defy this theory, this unfortunate understanding that has come across. Right? So here I'll read the translation. It says, O Supreme Eternal, if the embodied living entities were eternal and all pervading like you, he's saying if the individual living being, if they're like you, then they would not be under your control. Right? We are all under control of something. We are under the control of material energy, isn't it? We might think I am so powerful, I am so strong, I can do whatever this, that. And nowadays it is cold. If you catch flu virus, 2 days you'll have to take off. You can't even get up from the bed, right? Sometimes we become so weak. So what is our power? What is our capability, right? So he's saying, so we are under the control of the material nature. We are under the bounds. We can't cross these boundaries. It is winter, everyone we have to have jacket. You can't say, no, I'll just wear, swim shorts and I will walk around in the cold. The next day you will be hospitalized, right? So what does it mean? We are under the control of nature. So here it is saying, then they would not be under your control. But if living entities were accepted as minute energies of your lordship, so this is the main thing. What is our position? We are also energy, but we are minute energy. Then they are at once subject to your supreme control. So then we can understand that yes, we are under the supreme control. Therefore, real liberation entails surrender by the living entities to your control. So what is happening here now in this material world? We are not surrendering to the supreme control. We are thinking, I on my own, I can do something. I should do something big in this life. A lot of people say that, right? What is the aim of life? I want to do something big. I want to achieve something. What is the use of doing big and achieving? End of life, everything is left here, isn't it? I keep telling, next life, if you take birth, can you say, previous life, I did really big, really accomplished. This life, I want to take a break. I have earned $20 million. Just please transfer 1 million to my bank account. Will they give? They will call the cops or the mental hospital. Some crazy person is here. So what is the point of achieving something big if it can't stay with us, right? So that's what he's saying. They have to accept and surrender, and that is what will make us happy. So this whole theory of this impersonalism or monism. Monism means I am same as God. Those people, they will meditate. Soham, they will say. Soham means I am that. I am that. They will meditate. I am that. They'll think I am that. I am that. That means I am God. I am God. They will meditate, and they'll thinking by that one day I will become God. But actually, that is not what it is. It is very clearly explained that we are actually one with God in quality, not in quantity. A very small, same crude example Prabhupada gives, like a drop of ocean and the entire ocean. Both are same in quality, right? If you take a drop of ocean, you can analyze the amount of how much salts are there, how much water is there, how much minerals are there. So the drop of ocean is also a qualitatively same as the entire ocean. But the quantity, a drop is just can submerge few particles of sand. But the ocean can submerge the entire city also, right? So we are one in quality, but not one in quantity. So that is the correct understanding of the superior nature. Though we have, we are superior in nature, we have ability to control material nature, but we are not the supreme spiritual being. We are still under the control of the supreme spiritual Lord, that is the Supreme Purusha. And then Prabhupada is saying, so what is the final takeaway? What is it that one has to do? One has to ultimately accept the supremacy of the Supreme Lord and surrender to Him. And when surrenders, that is the real liberation. One comes to the actual position. And what is that surrender? What is the mode of surrender? What is this giving up this false ego and everything? What does that mean? What does it practically mean? It is said, Sarvapadi vinirmuktam tat paratyena nirmalam. Sarva upadi. Upadi means all these designations that we have made up different kinds of designations. I am man, I am woman, I am, master, I am this, I am, manager, I am expert, I am wealthy, I am strong, I am beautiful, I am handsome. All kinds of designations we have made up, right? These are all temporary designations. So that means it's a false designation. It is a false ego. We have to give up this false ego. Sarvapadi vinirmuktam. We have to give up this false ego. And then what to do? Tat paratyena nirmalam. We have to become clean without any misgivings in our heart. And then do what? If I give up all my false ego, then only thing that remains is true ego. What is true ego? True ego means I am part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. I am the minute energy of the Supreme Lord. And what is the purpose of energy? The purpose of Prakriti is to serve the Purusha. Prabhupada says Prakriti means is actually female. Purusha means the male. And the Prakriti is meant to serve the Supreme Purusha. And when the Prakriti serves Purusha, what happens? Prakriti becomes happy. A very crude example. It is said, like a wife is considered like Prakriti, the husband like Purusha. If an obedient wife and children, they behave subordinate and serve the, master of the house, and then what happens? The master of the house takes care of them very nicely, isn't it? So in the same way, when we all living beings who are minute particles of Krishna, we acknowledge to serve Krishna, we become happy. And how do we do that? Tat paratyena nirmalam. When we come to a true ego, that I am the servant of the Lord, my purpose is to serve the Lord, and that is where my real happiness is. Tat paratyena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam. Rishikena, by using our senses, right? Once we give up our false ego, we come to a true ego. I am the servant of the Lord, I am subordinate to the Lord. My business, my true purpose of my existence is to serve the Lord. How? Rishikena. Rishika means senses. By engaging our senses in Rishikesha Sevanam, Rishika Isha. Isha of all the senses is the Supreme Lord Krishna. He is known as Rishikesh, right? Haridwar, Rishikesh, people go, the Supreme Lord is there. So Rishikena, by using our senses, if you serve the Rishikesh, the master of the senses, that is bhakti, that is devotional service. And when we perform this devotional service, what happens? Ye atma su prasidati. It is said, Savai pumsa parodharma, yato bhakti adokshate, ahitukiya pratihata, ye atma su prasidati. This is what ultimately we all want. We want to be happy, completely happy and pleased, right? So when we perform this bhakti, when we act in our constitutional position, we become happy. Just like a rebellious child, if he is not accepting the superiority of the parents and is only creating a lot of trouble, what happens? He'll get a timeout and he'll be stuck in one room. He can't do anything. Will he be happy? But once the rebellious child comes to his senses, you know what, I'm unnecessarily rebelling. And he'll say from now inside, he will knock, I'm sorry, I will do whatever you say. Then what happens? He's out of the room, out of the door. He gets the entire house. He has actually real freedom, though he's subordinate, right? And he becomes really happy. The whole house is for him to enjoy very nicely. He can play with toys, watch TV, outside, go play and all. All he has to be is not be rebellious, be subordinate and surrender. So though that is why, because we are all small children of Krishna, our business is not to rebel against Krishna and say, I will do something. Krishna, please engage me in your service. Then we will become happy. It is called independence by dependence. We become completely independent. We want to go against so much travel we want to do, right? Like Narada Muni, he is completely dependent on Krishna. But what is his position? He is completely independent. He can travel across the universes. Just like if you become completely dependent on the traffic laws, you can go all the way from here till New York also, no problem. If somebody says, oh, what is this slave mentality? Why are you so obedient to the government rules? Do whatever you want. Within the one traffic signal only, he'll be arrested, right? So this is the key. The key to happiness is not that I will do whatever I want, doing the right thing by understanding that my position is to be subordinate, subservient, accept the principles, accept the superiority of Krishna and follow his instructions. Then I get complete independence. It's called complete independence by complete dependence. So that is what this Bhakti Yoga is all about, is to help us get rid of all our rebellious nature in our heart. I will do something, I will crack something, I'll figure something out. I don't care for God. I don't know who is God. I don't know what is God. What does it mean? Instead, giving up all this rebellious nature and coming down to Nirmala, coming down to a sane position, understanding our position, understanding God's position, understanding our relationship with Krishna, and working towards building that loving relationship. Just like the rebellious child has no love for the parents, but once he becomes subordinate, he sees the love and care of the parents. Actually, the love will come and he will become very attached. They will take care very nicely. So we have to give up our rebellious nature, surrender to Krishna, and this is what happens when we chant Hare Krishna. Our rebellious nature, this all misgivings in our heart, filled up with so many misgivings. Why are we rebellious? Because everything has creeped in. Lust, greed, anger, envy, jealousy, illusion, confusion, comparison with others. Totally our mind is lost. We have lost touch with Krishna. So, but when we get in touch with Krishna, this entire rebellious nature will go away. Our love for the Lord will be revived, and we'll be so happy and blissful in doing service to Krishna. And that is such a simple and easy way to attain ultimate success of this life, by which we can ultimately attain mukti. What is mukti? At the end of this life, no more punarjanma, going back to Krishna. And this bhakti is the process. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. So that is why we have distributed these beads to all of you. So we'll all perform devotional service, bhakti, Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam. By engaging our senses of touch, of speaking the mantra and hearing the mantra, by engaging these senses, we are serving the Supreme Lord. The Lord appears as the sound incarnation. So we'll all chant together. So the purpose of chanting is to invite the Lord on our tongue and to serve him with our attention. That is seva. When we hear, it is service. You are doing a service by your attention, putting your attention on the sound vibration. We are serving the holy name of the Lord. We are serving the sound incarnation of the Lord, right? Just like we have the marble deity incarnation. When you do some Abhishek Aarti, you are serving the deity. Here with our attention, we should serve the sound vibration, right? So I'll stop here. We'll all chant one round Hare Krishna mantra, engage our senses in the service of the sound incarnation of the Lord. Okay. So before we start chanting, we'll chant Guru Pranam mantra and Panchatattva mantra. So please repeat those after me. After that, Hare Krishna mantra, we'll all chant together. So please repeat. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we'll all chant the Hare Krishna mantra together. So please remember to chant clearly and in the mood of serving the sound incarnation of the Lord. So to